So now from here, let's talk about some tips that, because all of you have kind of, let's say, faced the struggle, faced the challenge, and then you have overcome. So let's say, in order to make life little easier by sharing your experience and challenge in that, what advice you will give to, first, there are two kind of people who want to get into job. One is student, another people who are working already in some field. They have worked for 5 7 10 years and they want to change the field and come into business psychology. So keep these two audience in mind. What piece of advice you will give to these people, like what to do, what to take care of, what not to do, based on your experience, based on your journey? Yeah, Anushri, you go first.
Sure. So whenever I get this question, I just say one thing: networking. Now, why I'll explain. So I've worked with 4 companies, five now, internships and jobs, but I've never ever visited any company's career portal because that networking helped me to get a job. So, especially in the field of IO psychology, I mean, it goes for other fields, but since IO psych we're talking right, it's very important that you network with people around. But how would you network? You should know what you want to talk about. That's more important. So the first thing that I tell everybody, please be clear on the questions that you really want to, talk to people or reach out, because they're giving their precious time. You have to make 100% use of it. I mean, I would say 1000% use of it. They're very highly tied, their work schedule. So what I do is, till today, when I connect with, say, any people, partners of the company, or even CEO, MDs for that matter, I have 20 questions prepared for myself. I try to answer to my own self. And then I'm like, okay, I am stuck here. I'm sure he's going to say this or she's going to say this. What will I speak to him next? So do that kind of homework. So when I wanted to get into management consulting, I knew what I did not want to do because I've spoken to people around. And then they said, management consulting also, there's a change management thing, the psychology into it. I spoke to literally many people that, this is my understanding. What should I do? Then they would speak to, do this course, do that, here to that podcast, this, that, and lot many things, which, they have experience of. They've been hiring students, I mean, the first timers, the laterals as well. They know what they expect of our age group. So that's the only thing I speak to everybody, and that's how I prepare even today. And I think that's going to be my only input
Mhm.
for my own self as well.
Yeah, like build the network, connect with the right people, and
Absolutely.
be serious, sincere about it.
Yeah.
Spend time, not connection for connection's sake.
Yeah, but also, it's not like today I connected and tomorrow I forget. I make sure that if they have they have birthdays, I speak to them. I speak to them between as well. I speak Happy New Year. These are very little small,
Mhm.
but it plays a huge
Yeah,
role. So people,
exactly. Staying in touch. Yeah.
yes. So that's how I do
Mhm.
it. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Vipul.
For me, I don't have a piece of advice. I would just like to share in terms of what I've learned from my failures. Okay. Uh, so one thing is that IO psychology jobs don't come with the title of IO psychology. So this is a harsh truth that everyone needs to accept. And what we have discussed today, which is the broad range of opportunities. Okay. So you need to understand in terms of how your strategy towards which of the field, okay, that you're searching for job, okay, should look like. So you need to tailor your approach. That's basically what I want to say. As well as, since it's very limited in nature, the range of opportunities are very limited in nature, that's what people say. But I absolutely disagree with it. Every company in today's world have lots of opportunities. So it's just that what you are looking for, you need to be really clear about. Okay, so if I'm looking forward to I liked while doing my masters or my education, I liked assessments, then I try and explore how I could be working as an assessment coordinator, assessment consultant, uh, or in general how to build assessments, right? So I build my portfolios tailored around it, and I search my job around it. And once you have this tailored strategy, over a period of time you'll find you'll find right opportunities for you. And another important thing is, I think Vidya, you only mentioned to me when I was working under you, was that in this field, in the field of psychology or in the field of social sciences, it generally takes 5 years for you to develop yourself or to build a base. And I still remember this line because it is true, very true in nature. Because after the, once you dive into any of the areas, you start understanding of what is, how big that subfield is and what its implication, right? So once you start entering, you see the, immense possibilities, like how Ujjwal was mentioning about, computational psychometrics in general. So try and develop your interest, explore various fields, but try and narrow down and develop your interest to specific fields that attracts you, and then have a tailored approach towards your job search or internship search in that matter. And I think that would really work out. And plus the competition in India is very high, so I think acceptance of failure must be there. So I have learned from it. I have like got rejected for a period of 1.5 year for all the jobs. So I think that needs to be there in terms of, while you're navigating job search with psychology as your batch, as your background, because you don't have that technical skill sets जिससे आपको easily job मिल जाएगा, right? आप computer science से नहीं आ रहे हो that you have great coding experience and you directly get placements. So इस field में वो वैसे work नहीं करता है. इस field में it's more about, as Anushri mentioned, it's a combination of various things, and patience I think is the key, because you develop your knowledge over a period of time, right? So yeah.
I was just
Thank you.
mentioning the
Thank you,
patience,
Vipul.
which you said. It's like literally the key of success in psychology, I would say, because it's such booming field.
Yeah, patience. I would also thumbs up for that. It's I remember 3 years I waited for one opportunity. I was reading newspaper every day. 3 years. So yeah, and nowadays, like now what is happening that in a year I get like 10 to 12 people seriously asking, hey, are you looking for a change? I have this thing. It is not advertised anywhere, but if you're interested, I can start discussion. I said, no, I'm interested in being a stay-at-home dad. I don't want to. In fact, I hid for almost 2 years from my LinkedIn that I'm working in a company, because I didn't want to receive a lot of things saying that, hey, we have a job for you. So I said, okay, just go and change. Tell them that you're unemployed, or something weird. People will not bug you and bother you and let you be in peace. I have to edit this, but anyway, I'll take it out. But this because if my company find out, they will say, oh, you're looking for job.
No, but
They will
that's
not think that I'm actually avoiding looking for job. Yeah. So yeah, it's this is actually very interesting. But before putting my thought, I would like to go to Swarali. And yeah, Swarali, the same question
Yes.
to you. What
So I
advice you will
think
give to students and to working professionals who want to get into this field? Yeah.
yes. Am I audible? Am I like properly audible? So I think what Anushri mentioned, amazing, bang on, spot on. Networking is the key, and I think Vipul, I and Anushri have been in the same mood in pandemic where we realized the importance of networking. Yes, and I think I've met both of them through LinkedIn. So I think, guys, LinkedIn is 100% a go-to source when it comes to networking. I think I've met Vijay and Ujjwal also on LinkedIn.
all of us.
So all of us. So yes, definitely go for LinkedIn. Second thing, I'll reiterate what Vipul said, and which is again so spot on, that there is no job after doing business psychology with the title of a business psychologist, unless you are practicing independently. Then you can call whatever you want to call yourself. Okay, so that's another thing. Second thing which Vipul said, again, like I'm just feeling that everything is all said. I just want to add one point to it. Vipul, you mentioned about knowledge, right? That knowledge builds over a period of time. But I think when I was looking for a job, and believe me, when I was rejected for a year and a half, like I think the entire 2020 and the first half of 2021. So that's when a lot of collaboration between the three, like me and Vipul, also happened. So, like I met this one person in whose company I had gone for a job interview. I told him that I've studied this, I've done this, that. I gave my whole CV, and he just told me one thing which I think it has stuck with me for so long. He said, that studying will give you knowledge, but only working will build your skills. So I want to, I think, pass that word here that just because you know something does not mean have mastered the skill of it. So whenever, like, if you are someone who is new to the field, either a graduate or someone who's a lateral person who's changing fields, right? I would recommend, or I would suggest, or maybe advice, I don't know what the best word is, which you can take out the words which don't fit. but but I think the best thing you can do is start working on tiny projects, voluntarily, pro bono, on internship basis, whatever it is, whatever. Just start working small, take baby steps, and one day when you reflect after 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, you'll realize that now you don't only have knowledge, but you have hands-on experience, which might have developed certain skills, I think. So whatever it is, patience, I guess, coming back to Anushri, and acceptance for rejection. Quite ironical, but yes. And one last thing I would like to add is know yourself. Just know who you are as a person, know what you like to do, know what you want to do in your life, and just be true to yourself. So knowing yourself, I think, was the key for myself, at least, because going back to mentioning the part where I knew after my 10th boards that I wanted to do psychology is basically what got me here. So I know myself inside out, and believe me, you're the best judge of yourself. Don't listen to parents, don't listen to relatives, don't listen to your professors. Believe me, no one is, they can guide you, but they cannot make decisions for you.
Actually, and I would also like to emphasize that you really need to be passionate. So in psychology, we all have read, just all principle. It's the sum of all. So all the experience that you gather in psych, and I was like, it's like that makes you will not realize it now. But if you reflect back 2 years and you'll be like, oh, I learned this, I know that, I know this. So that, all the things that you learned in books, why not we make use of into the practical life as well? So I think that ways you really have to be passionate about learning, and it's just learning every day. Doctors learn things every day. New medicines come up. Why not you? You have different behaviors. They're not just like 6 emotions. There are over, I think, 64 emotions. There are a wheel of emotions.
100. It's 100. There are around 100 emotions. I use it every day.
That got changed as well. I think updated. I'm talking about
Exactly. Yeah. Some interesting work is going on in the field of emotion, and there is a lady called Lisa Feldman Barrett. Lisa Feldman has done. She comes from neuroscience background, and she has got training before in biology. So she looks at, basically she comes from that background, and she looks at emotions, how they are expressed and how they can be leveraged. Amazing. And see, there are 2 big podcasts available on that, one with Lex Friedman and another with this guy who was in Stanford neuroscience, that big American guy, I forgot his name. Huberman. Yeah, Huberman. Andrew Huberman. Yes.
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah. Amazing. And another very interesting book that I would never forget, that book kind of struck me hard, was there was a book called Molecules of Emotions. It's an amazing book about the let's say the chemistry of emotions. Amazing. And both work of Lisa Feldman Barrett and work on this book, both they basically bring home one very important point, is that emotions are a real thing. They are not just kind of fluffy, fleety, flirty thing. They are a real thing, and you can leverage them to whatever you want. So when you write an email, you can think at your email, look at your email from the angle that, okay, what emotions it will cause in the reader, and what emotions I want to convey through this email. So each and every message is actually a cognitive part and then an emotive part attached to it. And once you start paying attention to it as an individual, as an organization, as a team, it helps a lot to kind of achieve your desired objective. And you start seeing like the finer nuances of communication, finer nuances of relationships, team building, everything.